Are you guys ready to hear a little bit more about CDFA efforts and what we have done so far and ring our own bell? Okay, so let's start with the statistics. And sorry if you already have seen this type of graphs before, but I always like to start my presentations with this because it gives us a really good picture of what is happening right now. So just to guide you to your right, it's the total inventory for greenhouse gases for the state of California. So you can see 7 major sectors, and the latest inventory, which was the 2023 edition, which is for the emissions that happened in 2021, are a total of 381 million metric tons. Of that, you can see agriculture and forestry represent about 8% of the emissions from California, and that is about $30.85 million, 30.5 metric tons of carbon dioxide equivalent. So if you get that sector, which is 8%, and zoom in, you can see that about 70% of the greenhouse gases emissions, and that's not just methane, it's all the greenhouse gases, are represented by enteric fermentation and manure management. So that's why, at least here in California, when we talk about greenhouse gases in agriculture, we end up always thinking about dairy first and then other livestock, mainly beef, and now you know why. So one thing that I wanted to point is that from last year's inventory, we got a reduction of 1 million metric tons on the manure management side because our friends at the California Air Resource Board, and I'm looking at you, Dan, have already started counting for the digesters that were implemented in 2021. So the digesters that were completing by 2021 are now being accounted, has a reduction on the inventory. So you can see already, instead of 11 that it was last year, now it's 10.69. So that is very exciting. And we have so many more digesters to account for this, so in the next years, probably lower and lower and lower. So, okay, next slide. So I wanted to show you what the people of California, in particular the farmers, have been doing already so well without any regulations in place. So we are doing a lot through voluntary measures. And here at CDFA, so far, we have done a lot of progress and measurable progress in terms of the manure management part of it, so the back of the cow. And so I wanted to just really quickly show our 3 incentive projects that we have at the department, and to show you how large they are in terms of reducing greenhouse gases. So we have first the Dairy Digester Research and Development Program. We have funded since 2015 140 projects, and those, when they are completed, and they are about 70% completed right now, will reduce about 2.45 million metric tons of carbon dioxide equivalent. And that's by far the most effective greenhouse gas reduction program in the States, not only in agriculture, in all sectors. So then we have the alternative manure management practices. So if you cannot, for some reason or option, install a digester in your farm, you have what we call the AMP. And since 2016, we have awarded 170 projects, and they are going to result in 288,000 metric tons of carbon dioxide per year. And then now the newest program, the Dairy Plus, which was a super collaboration with the California Dairy Research Foundation and USDA on that partnership for climate smart commodities. And so last year was the first year, and we awarded 15 projects, and those in conjunction with AMP and DDRDP are going to reduce 120,000 metric tons of carbon dioxide equivalent. So that said, though this is really good news, and we know there is a lot of private initiative being done. So these are the ones funded by the state, but you know there are farmers that are installing digesters on their own, or they are installing definitely AMP practices on their own. And if we account for that, and then we also account for herd attrition, we are very close of meeting the target that we have, at least for California, in terms of methane reduction. But without enteric methane solutions, we are not going to be able to get there. And so we need to do something about it. So just wanted to make a little note that we have solicitations for these 3 programs opening in June. So if you know of people that are interested, please tell them so they can apply. Okay, next. So in terms of enteric research, and that's, I think, why most of you are here, we have 2 programs that are focused in research as instead of incentive programs like I showed you before. And so the first one is the California Livestock Methane Measurement, Mitigation, and Thriving Environments Research Program. And Charles, I will never forget you for that name, which I thought was really cool because it's climate, but then when you talk it's really long. So then there we had $5 million, and then we have another program that is the Livestock Enteric Methane Emission Reduction Program, or research program, and we got $10 million there. I wanted to shout out to you all that came last year, because from our discussions and the points that we thought were important, that directly molded the solicitation for the lemur. So we compiled all your ideas and opinions and suggestions, and we did a call for what we needed to fund, and I think we got pretty successful, and I will show you soon. Okay, next slide. Okay, so, and I hope you can see this. I don't know if the color scheme work out here, but for the climate, we have awarded in direct cash $4.74 million, and of that, about 3.1 million it's for enteric. So you can see of the 6 projects that we awarded, 3.5 are for enteric. So you can see feeding seaweed in dairies in the Central Valley. You can see developing a standard for estimating methane with Dr. Kabreb. We have the turning agricultural waste. So that's the 50 byproducts that Dr. Hess talked about. And we also have one that is kind of, this is what I call the 3.5, because this one with that you can see the 2 colors with Phyto, that's actually a project that has the intention of taking nitrogen out of manure digestate. But they're doing that by growing duckweed, lemna. And so we are going to see if you not only take the excess of nitrogen from manure, but if you feed that duckweed to cows, because duckweed has a high nitrate content, if that has a potential of reducing enteric. So we'll see. Okay, next slide. So I wanted to show also the recipients of the lemur, and I think all of them are here in the room, and I'm really proud. And so, yeah, there we had $9.2 million awarded. All of them are on enteric. And as you can see, and this was a really big collaboration between the Global Methane Hub scientific panel, and also we had Foundation for Food and Ag Research as part of the research, the selection panel, and the members, some of the members of the Feed Inspection Advisory Board. So that was really nice. And so here, and you'll see, we awarded projects in several areas. So the first one, which as Hayden was telling me today, and I don't know if I can tell you, can I disclose? No, I will. So the long-term feeding of 3-NOP, so at least 1 year on feeding, and here with Dr. Mitloner. And we also have the stacking of practices, so to see how they work, if they are additive or not. And here with Dr. Silva Del Rio, we have interactions with dietary fatty acids and natural and synthetic bromoform. Dr. McFadden, and he already talked about that in detail. We have a bromoform safety study to see, in meat and milk, that goes, and Sarah is here. And then 2 cow-calf operation studies, One is going to target early life strategies, also Dr. Mitloner. And then we have one that is feeding Asparagopsis taxiformis, and we have Dr. Barry here also in the audience. Okay, and my last slide. Okay, this is, so we received from last year budget appropriation $2 million to develop a framework for a program that will encourage the adoption of feed additives or other methane reduction strategies. And with that, we are already engaging with stakeholders. We are hosting focus groups, and soon we'll have public meetings to get more input on how we do that successfully across California. And we're also working with our friends at CARB to creating models and tools for estimating enteric methane. So a tool that is easy, something like Sarah showed to us early, that farmers can log in, say, I'm using this strategy that you're incentivizing, and we get a number so we can account for the inventory. And that said, initially we had $25 million for this solicitation, but it played out that we just have 2 now. But with that said, we are really pursuing other opportunities to continue this work. And so my last slide, actually, I wanted to thank my team, because without them, that wouldn't be anything to present here today. So I really wanted to thank all of them for the amazing work they do.